Welcome back, everyone. We're very pleased to be joined by Elements from Curse. Coach, welcome to the stage. Congratulations on another win. What did you guys change coming into this one? Was it obviously on your mind that you had those losses?
Yeah, I mean, Dignitas and CLG really, I guess, was an eye-opener a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know what we were doing, honestly. We were just trying to, we were changing our strat. It almost seemed like mid-champion select, but for stuff that we really wanted to get into, and it obviously was not working. So, as we said, I tweeted out the other day, so we just really need to go back to basics and do what we know we can do, and that's ultimately what we did. But unfortunately, a little birdie overheard our strategies the other night, and good guy TSM for letting us know that they heard our strategy.
Sure.
So we had to go again and change exactly everything we were going to do again. So it's like, oh my gosh, but you know, we got the W, so can't complain.
Got the job done. Yeah,
it was interesting. You guys went pretty defensively in the opener, but we saw some things that you may have borrowed from Heartbeat. The Tristana plus Beta, the Ruined King, and then the Elise also with the Leanders. Were you guys planning on doing that very early Baron all along, or did it just kind of happen?
It kind of happened, but I mean, right now the Trist with the Blade of Ruined King is like insanely strong Baron rush. I mean, you know, we call that Operation Heartbeat, and that worked out flawlessly. So that was good. And yeah, I mean, it just everything kind of fell into place in terms of what we wanted to do. I mean, Baron opened up, so we took that advantage, and you know, we were losing a lot of dragons early, but that really didn't matter too much because we were keeping up on our map control, and we were still winning these team fights and still getting Trist to late game, which is absolutely what you need to do on Trist.
So when you guys get into the moments where we just see it's 20, 23 minutes, you've danced Dragon 3 times, nobody can figure out a way into the next fight. Tensions are high for both teams. How do you play that? What is Curse's first look in that situation?
When you're kind of doing like a Baron dance or just waiting for initiation, it's really just like whoever gets caught. And it's just, you know, hopefully, like, I'm like praying, you're like, Elise, just land the stun, man. Just land the stun on their 80 care, and we just all jump on COG, and it's like a 4 vs 5 instantly. Like, you're just like thinking like, yes, please, please, please. And that's really, I think, what most teams hope for, is that you just need to wait for someone to slip up. It's really just sitting there and waiting until someone messes up or until someone lands a good initiation. And that's really how those team fights always start. And, you know, like when there's a big objective, you're just sitting there, you're just like, let's just sit here and wait, or we're going to go push a lane.
Or your Elements on support and you throw yourself into Maokai and throw your ult on.
Hey, man, I mean, that's Saint trying to smite. I got to stop Odd One at all costs.
We noticed you running that front line again, knock up onto Odd One. But you always get those boots of mobility on like any support. On Tarek, I know you like to initiate with it. On Lulu, is it just to get off that first glitter lance, or?
Lulu boots of mobility is really about just everything about her. Like, you pop W on yourself, you're moving at like 600 movement speed, and I can control the map like incredibly well. As soon as I pick up oracles, I can be anywhere at any given time putting wards like anywhere on the map. So the boots of mobility also allows me to chase extremely well, because Lulu, I mean, if I'm able to chase, I can pop my little dragon on them, and then I can slow them with glitter lance, so I can ultimately disengage and engage at any given time on Lulu. So that's why I like the boots of mobility on her.
Right on. Do you change your flash build because you're not dazzle shattering all day? You don't get the flask on her?
Yeah, well, I mean, recently I've been talking to a couple supports overseas and stuff like that, and seeing what they're doing. And yeah, I've decided to kind of go away from flask, especially versus Alistar lane. Like Alistar versus Lulu, Lulu's going to lose that no matter what. I mean, Alistar just spams heal the entire time, and I'm like, well, there goes all my harass. Like, we went into that knowing that's a losing lane, and we're just trying to get it out of laning phase and not die. That's all that was there.
All right. With Cop being on that very safe AD carry, Tristana having a lot of peel of his own just built into that kit, did you guys say, Saint and Boy, you're free to go dive as soon as you see Kog'Maw or you see Reggie, just go on them and I'll take care of myself?
Well, kind of. I mean, Cop's a very smart player, as you can tell by his KDA. He doesn't like to die. And yeah, Trist has all that, built-in survivability already, plus Lulu. I mean, I could really just, knock up Saint every time he landed on Ori or Kog'Maw and just, get the job done, and Saint would just be this, big Jarvan, slowing and attacking, and, it's just causing like a big hectic team fight for us. So Trist was able to, Trist and Ryze were able to lock down Singed right away. So that was really all they could do. I mean, Dyrus is going to, rush us as soon as possibly can, but, he's getting, glitter lanced, and then he's getting, turned into a little dragon. Then Ryze is throwing out his snare, and then, Trist knocks him away. It's just like, Dyrus is probably just sitting there like, this is the most frustrating game ever as Singed, And that's exactly what we're going for, is to just protect our Trist and let him do free damage.
Right on. So now you guys come in with this win again. coming up for the next ones, do you change anything? Or you guys aren't afraid to try new strats, but the slow and steady, don't fix it if it's not broken kind of thing. Are you going to just stick with that?
I think we need to change up something a little bit. I think the way we're going, teams are starting to catch up to us, as you can see, as we're getting our first 2 losses this week. So I'm thinking we need to go back to the drawing board and change it up a little bit and throw another curveball at these teams so they don't always know what we're going to do. They can't counter us, so we're going to be ahead of the ball because that's how we got all these wins in the first place, was staying ahead of the curve and doing stuff that the teams didn't know how to react to.
All right, Alan, it's awesome. Thank you very much. Congratulations on the win again.
Thank you.
Good luck in the rest of the LCS. Now, guys, it's time for our next match, Complexity versus Counterlogic Gaming. Recently, CLG had a few games they'd like to take back, and Complexity would be looking to capitalize on those mistakes. Watch this.
CLG is a tougher match for us. They're definitely a perennial powerhouse in North America.
We can just beat them again, just by sheer strength.
They haven't been looking that strong so far this season.
And it looks like CLG is scattering now.
Definitely the person to look out for is Doublelift, their AD carry.
We're not really scared of any of the bottom 4 teams.
If we can get people who can stick on him, we think we have a very good chance of beating them.
Like, I love to say these players are good, but they just aren't.
So Complexity is definitely struggling to find more wins here. But Kobe, what's holding these guys back?
Well, I mean, Lattimore has been struggling in these games, but really it's a symptom of the lanes not having pressure for him. And when your lanes don't have pressure as a jungler, it just feels bad because the enemy team can come in, invade your jungle, and take whatever they want from you. So that's definitely going to have to be fixed for them. And CLG have been sneaky with their level 1 invades. We saw them do it against Curse to take that win away from them, invade and get the easy first blood on Voyboy. That was a big game changer.
And with CLG's win over Curse, Chauster playing so strong in the jungle.
He is playing really strong, and he also is making a lot of those calls, so probably that delayed invade, those things are probably coming from him.
Well, we'll have to see if they do it again. Let's check out the lineups on the blue side. It's Complexity. Nick Wu in the top lane. Lana Mortis is your jungler. Chuper in mid. Brunch U on AD, and MIA on support.
And on the red team, it's CLG, Hotshot GG in the top, Choster in jungle, Link in the middle, Doublelift on AD, and Afromoo on support.
And we said it yesterday a few times. Nick Wu is still a very consistent player for them. I think, as we were saying, the lanes kind of need more pressure. That's the one that Loudamortis doesn't have to focus on the most. And we'll see if he actually gets to 1v1 Hotshot this game.
Yeah, if you give him one of those champions that he's put in his time on, the Zed or the Jace or the Shen, then he's going to be fine by himself. He's got that fighting game mentality where he really likes to have a 1v1, just have his alone time with you and make bad things happen.
That one-on-one, that real fight, the back and forth.
There's a few of those top laners that really just enjoy that.
Mega.
And that's kind of what makes them those top laners.
We got to see a Mega Nick Wu top lane.
Yeah,
now.
Mega Nick Wu.
Super
Both of them really
out.
want it, and that will be a battle royale.
Give them both Vi or something. They could just punch each other. There's Nick Wu right there as they get ready for the game. We saw Chuper last week, and I kind of spoke with Nick Wu about their game. I was like, you guys had a great composition coming in with the dive you had from the jungler as well as Shen. Shen and Shin, actually. And what was the deal with Cassidy? He's like, well, we had guys that could jump in. And I'm like, so why do you want Cassidy to jump in? Why not Orianna or something? He's like, Chuper, that's not in his pool. And I was like, that would have been perfect, something like that. I feel you guys were kind of forced into a position where you had to have everybody go in, and that's scary because you got bruises on the other team. They're going to punch you in the face.
Plus, they were able to manipulate it so that Cassidy had to go bottom lane against Nidalee. And Nidalee, with those bushes in the bottom lane, it's even more of a hard lane for Cassidy than it is already.
And that was the thing. Scar's like, I can handle a long lane. Give it to me. And he did. He handled the long lane. They were actually able to come up with that second kill like that. They went down after he stole the buff. He's like, you know what? I want another kill.
I think that's like one of the best parts about Dignitas is their flexibility right now. I say it again all the time about the Koreans. They change up the game to put you off guard.
Right.
And it seems like maybe Dignitas, actually Curse also have been pretty flexible. So hopefully those two at least are the rising stars for North America and can actually contest with these Koreans when we finally meet up with them.
So Chauster, kind of considered the North America's theory crafter, right? Definitely a lot of ideas, can theory craft, as I said, pretty much the way that made Doublelift the best with his mechanics. As we always said, you know, that guy's, they always said that guy's pretty good. We should take him, and then Doublelift can become Doublelift.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what they can do against Louder Mortis, because he's known as a pioneer of the jungle as well, coming out very strong. I believe his was Alistar in the beginning. He loved that. Not something that you can really use these days due to the damage output. He's more of that support role now, as we see, being used all over the place. So we'll have to see if he can get back into a pioneer role, you know, just as we saw Nick, not Claky D, bringing back Jarvan, but being very trickster-like with him.
I really became a fan of Louder Mortis when he was doing the very early tower dives, and now everybody seems to be doing it. It's not even like a special thing anymore, but that was really what impressed me about him early on, was he would go for level 4 tower dives with Alistar, like you're talking about, or Maokai.
Yeah.
And he actually returned to Maokai this week once already. He might do it again.
So we see the guys getting set up. They can discuss before this. Once during the game and the pause, then there's no chit-chat between them other than, you know, obvious headset mic, and we're almost ready. We're ready. Let's go. So they're discussing what's going on. You can see Hotshot in the end there, still bouncing the leg as he would on his stream, but we do see the text document in his hands.
He's always got that, never far from his side. And CLG are one that you always have to look out for some interesting picks, because they will use some champions that are not flavor of the month. They really don't care what the current trends are.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the Nasus, pulling out Galio as well, and they're comfortable picks. We kind of talked to the team, and I forgot who it was that asked. I might have been up here with Freak, and he said, you know, were those something that the team kind of said, yeah, we don't have much, so we'll pick that, and they weren't okay with it? Or is it something you're all right with and it just didn't work? And they're like, no, we're pretty much usually all right with what Hotshot wants to pick in the lane. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and we'll try again next time. So the picks aren't really against what other team is doing. They're definitely up for trying new things.
I like that a lot, too. They choose champions that fit their personality, which is something that the Azubu Frost, back when they were interviewed a long time ago too, they were like, how do you guys train and how do you pick up new champions? And they actually talk to their managers and their coaches, and the coaches look for champions that are like, I think this might fit you. And give them like options to pick up new champions.
Not just because they like the queue, but because it's like your personality as a whole.
Exactly.
That's just that second level of playing a champion and making it feel like it's just a piece of you.
Be in the game. You have to live the game.
You have to live the game. So we have this game almost underway. Your second one of the day, Complexity versus Counterlogic Gaming. We just had a nail-biter between Team Solobit and Curse in their first matchup of 4 weeks of the LCS. Like I said, I think that's awesome. We still have first matchups going on. Copenhagen Wolves picking up their first win today, just for other things going on in this super crazy week of Super Wednesday all the way through into Europe for Super Friday now. Absolutely amazing. 40 games over the total of 5 days.
That Copenhagen Wolves, actually, our tweet earlier, which EU team would you like to see an NA team? I think I'd like to see them versus GGU. The two bottom teams, Copenhagen Wolves and GGU, go at it.
Fight it out.
It would be an interesting game, I think, because there would be a lot of action at least. It wouldn't be like an EG game versus a TSM
you need like a
game
Giants versus somebody else. Because Giants will fight anywhere around the map. That's what Fnatic said about them. They're very good at fighting absolutely everywhere and anywhere, and chaotic. And I guess that's, you know, what Moscow 5 brought to the table. Now Gambit Gaming, in the beginning, back to the day, that roaming support with Shyvana and Janna, and you were just like, what is going on? 3 kills before 5 minutes. Every lane has died right now. So hopefully we start to see a little bit more of that in the LCS, and everybody's kind of like, you know what? We're just going to go for something new.
CLG and Complexity, though, pretty good matchup. CLG feels like they have the upper hand. They're very confident in this. They said when they got upset by Vulcan last week, they took that pretty hard, and they're like, well, we're not going to let that happen again. Then Marn comes along. They upset them as well. They've got to be redoubling their efforts and thinking twice.
So we see him hovering around Link, getting him all set up here. You can see him moving his mouse, so his computer is back in. Looks like everybody's getting ready to set up. Counterlogic, kind of up and down. But everybody's had a little bit of an up and down, especially who's been in the top, right? Dignitas started off with hardly any wins. Now they've capitalized on a bigger win streak than Curse, as Curse now kind of getting themselves back into the run of things. CLG, the week off, kind of hurting them a little bit. TSM didn't seem to let that momentum hurt them too bad. They were able to come in with some wins. So it seems like every team kind of getting hit left and right with a few things. The house is coming into play. We definitely see that helping Dignitas a little bit more. Marn obviously finding a lot of comfort out of having their house, having training sessions where they can all sit down around one computer finally and learn things out. So everybody now 4 weeks in, they know their job, they're knee-deep in it, and they're definitely pulling out all the stops.
Yeah. Everyone's realizing now that you really have to be in the LCS for the long haul. This is not a short-term tournament.
Right.
The format here, this is a season. And they're just now like realizing what that actually means. All the younger teams are like, okay, in the beginning, they're like, okay, we're going to get really good eventually. We might not win all the beginning games, and it's starting to show here with Marn picking up some games against the top 4. Vulcan were upset already, or they did the upsetting. So a lot of those teams really getting a foothold now.
That's right. We're kind of seeing, I guess it wouldn't be a top 4 or a bottom 4 because they keep switching now. There's a few that stay at the bottom that haven't found that ground yet. Obviously, GGU, they've kind of been poking at themselves and saying we can't say, it's about Shifter anymore because we have a team that we're able to work with. It does hurt to practice a full week with somebody and not have them, but they're right. They themselves know they kind of need to just go ahead and do it. So those bottom teams know what they need to do to bring it back up here. And Complexity comes out with their heads held high every week. Obviously they want to find more wins, but they're not going to give up. And we saw what it did for Vulcan. They were able to come back strong.
It's fine if you have excuses, but using those to justify your losses is not something that you want to do. You want to look at those excuses and see what went wrong and then build on that. Complexity, they're a very tough team, and they're very close as well. So they do a really good job of coming together after the games, discussing everything that went wrong. They know where they missed, and then they try and improve upon that, patch up all the holes in their defenses.
So as Link was, poking around on the PC, it looks like we're actually going to get that changed out. Wasn't really feeling the settings, so we're gonna get Link's PC switched out. It might just be a few minutes, so bear with us. Kobe and I are gonna have to just chat with you. Sorry.
Yes. What a fitting Friday of Super Week. We've had tons and tons of games. I feel like I've been here for a very long time, staring at your beautiful face.
Aw, how nice. Yeah, it has been a week, right? 12 games on Wednesday. Like I said, overall 40 games in 5 days. I think IPL was the last thing to do this when they had all the international games. I think it was like 70 or something like that, plus somewhere around that number. It could have even been more. But it's all the action that everybody wants to see. This is the time when you're going to see new things, right? Nothing can really be, everything has to be left on the table here. It's Super Week.
We've seen trends just come up where everyone's doing the same thing and then instantly die in a few hours.
Like Pogs, man.
You don't even have to wait for a week for this flavor of the week or flavor of the month.
Flavor of the hour.
This is exactly, it's flavor of the hour. In the morning, everyone's doing the exact same 2 versus 1, switch lanes, and then we'll send a jungler over there to take that turret at 4 minutes. We had 4 or 5 of those in a row, and then instantly, nobody's doing that. We're all going to brawl now. Dignitas try to do their 2 versus 1 mid, and then everybody just kind of gets over it. The Xerath picks coming in. It's just really interesting to live through this as it's happening, hour by hour. Everyone's switching up their strategies.
Flavor of the game.
There we go.
That's really what it is, right? So how many Warmogs do we see now?
Exactly.
Coming out. It wasn't even hit. Like, put a little bit more gold on it. I don't want it.
That was one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite things about watching Complexity. They all are killers. Like, they want damage. They want to be able to take out champions. They have not been buying health for a while now. They who did we interview? Oh, and also Marn are the same way because we interviewed Clanky D and he's like, I was never really a big fan of that. I like taking down champions, seeing my name big and lights on the front of the screen there.
Flashy. All the flashy lights. Brunch U, his play has actually been quite consistent. He's not one that's been a huge crush focus for them, or a crutch. I should say not crush focus, crutch. But he's always had good CS, always finds his way into the late game with items under his belt, and he can do the damage. Protection around him will be hard because it's the pressure they put on him and Lauda Mortis. He's focused to that lane. Chuper, inconsistent play. We really can't say much more than that. He's found a few things here and there. The Kassadin really wasn't the amazing thing for them the last time we played it. Like we said, that champion pool could be increased, so we'll have to see if he can pick it up too. Last time we said this about Mandatory Cloud and Zuna, they pulled out amazing scores, so hopefully Complexity follows right through.
I love watching Chuper play. I mean, it's just hilarious. He's always so happy. Look at that guy. He's never said, their computer is broken, they're waiting, everybody's cracking up right now. But I have to say, it's pretty funny when he does make a mistake because you can call that a Chuper blooper, put that right on the highlight reel. I love just picking those out. We can have a YouTube montage of him. And actually, something I noticed a couple weeks ago, Skara had the back of his iPhone setting. It was a wallpaper. It was a picture of Chuper doing a Chuper blooper of TF teleporting about 3 feet next to him, and it was from one of their scrims, and he came around and he showed everybody. It was like kind of like a hazing or a intimidation tactic that some of these older guys are using to intimidate the young teams, and he was like, remember this, Trooper? Don't mess up again. Scar, not the nicest guy that everybody thinks he is sometimes. He's doing a little mind games there, some intimidation.
It's always with a pat on the back. These guys can always get in each other's face and smile about it afterwards. It's funny to hear everything they say, or jokes are made when they're all watching out in the lobby, right, and the games are happening, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Scar, you probably would have dove that turret or something like that." And he's like, "Oh, whatever."
Nice smite, Saint Vicious.
But no, yeah, it's awesome to watch all these players interact, and really that was one of my favorite things coming into Season 3 is who has gotten the chance to see this? Who has gotten the chance to be a part of these players' lives other than their teammates and their managers week in and week out? And then everybody in the community can see that as well. We get to see, internal montages of what it's like living at their house or seeing TSM under game cribs, right? It's absolutely amazing. This is their job.
It really is nice getting to know these people more intimately in their real lives. And that's one of the things that I always loved about going to the live events. When I first started playing, like that was just the best thing ever. Like getting to meet all these players that you play with online in real life. And it's so interesting to see how they stack up. Some are exactly the same, and then some are just completely different to how they act online. MLG Dallas, we're gonna go there live. That should be pretty fun. You guys should all come out and meet us. We definitely love interacting with the fans.
So absolutely good, guys. Actually, don't forget today that the Mac client, the Mac came out for League of Legends, the Mac beta. Has been released, so make sure you get yourself over there. Take boot camp right off of that.
I thought that trailer was actually like a Pixar film or something, like a little ad for a new movie.
They did pretty darn good on it. It looks really nice. Also, if you want to see any replays, rewatch anything, the games are all also highlighted for you if you want to check it out. You can go to lolesports.com. Make sure at the top you can choose your region, which region you're in, and choose it. Select out. Check the times as well. They'll be set for that. So actually, we have some of those Twitter questions that you guys had from earlier, which would be the favorite, which would your dream match be between the North American LCS team and a European LCS team? There it is. Your answers to @LOL eSports are Dignitas versus Evil Geniuses. EG is known for playing a slow game. And can the newfound hyper-aggressive style of Dignitas win? That is true. Dignitas kind of always had a fight comp, but they turned it on a lot earlier now.
Especially their way of ending the game, where Dignitas, they're like, how do we close this out? We just shove every lane in.
I was going to say, or not, but yeah, they have been.
Yeah.
They've been able to shove every lane in.
Against EG, that would be interesting because EG is known as like the turtle team. So how do you turtle all three lanes at once? It would be interesting to see that interaction. I really like that answer.
All right, so let's see what we have for the next one. Team Solo Mid versus Gambit. You need a reason? Alex versus Reggie. Oddbro versus Diamond. Always great plays in that match.
I love seeing EG or Gambit play against anybody. Diamond's play, all of their play, like Edward with his Thresh play recently. It's just so interesting, and I think that's a really good matchup too. Alex versus Reggie is always pretty epic.
I remember when I think Freak and everybody came up here to watch it. Jat's like, nope, that's not it. It's still going. And it is just an awesome play that comes in from Edward. So great questions. Another one, Counterlogic versus EG, the former roommates, teammates, going at it with a new roster. I like that. I like that quite a bit. They did live together for quite some time, get a bunch of scrims in, and who would know each other better, right?
Yeah. Almost incestuous a little bit. They all lived in the same house, and now they're going to battle against each other. That would be pretty good, especially since there has been a little bit of trash talk between the two. After the split. Yep. I think that would be pretty interesting. Doublelift, of course, though. He trash talks about anybody.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for your answers. Remember to keep them coming to @LOL eSports, #LCS. We'll be sure to read more live on the air. That is, if they're good enough. But those are some pretty darn good answers, so I think we're just going to read more anyways. If you're with us, sticking with us, you should. Or if you're just joining us, we are waiting for a quick break here as we get Link's PC changed in and out. We had our first game, Curse versus Team Solo Mid. Curse was able to find the win there in a good 43-minute nail-biter. If you didn't see it, obviously the YouTube replay, well, I guess you can't watch it yet because you weren't watching it before, but you'll be able to see the replays at lolesports.com. We have Counterlogic Gaming versus Complexity coming up in just a few with myself, Rib. I was going to say Kobe right after, and
Uncle Ribby Rab.
Uncle Rib Rab. Riv and Kobe24 bringing it to you live here from Los Angeles. It's actually a gorgeous day out, and it's going to be a short one. We got 4 games, not the 12-match day, but really it's been about these players. They have gone through a grueling week, right? We get to sit here and watch awesome plays. They're the one producing them. We even heard from the managers. They're like, no, yeah, we're a little bit more stressed than these guys. Don't let them tell you anything different, because we got to talk to, say, Ocean and Liquid. So that was a really cool interview with those guys, figuring out what's it like to really manage a team themselves. We've got to see what Dan Din has to say about it on Game Cribs, and it's cool to get that aspect of it, since we only see, really, this side in the KDAs.
Yeah, this matchup, too, the players here talking about, I like the extra added layer that Nick Wu comes from the fighting game community, and Chowster and Doublelift are really big on Street Fighter right now. That's like the second game that they play. Doublelift always gets crushed by Chowster, and he thinks that Chowster is this amazing Street Fighter player.
Of course
but
he
Chowster's
is.
always like, "What? I'm not even that good. I just crush you all the time." It's just specifically, I can crush you, Doublelift. And so I think it would be interesting if we actually see Chowster fight Nick Wu in Street Fighter after this to see who could handle who.
Oh, man.
Because it would, if Chowster lost, it would be like Doublelift's hero was just thrown to the floor and tarnished, and I wonder what that would do to his world. Would that like shatter his perception of the gaming community?
I don't know if theory crafting comes into fighting games.
Oh yeah, there's
frame crafting.
so many levels.
It's frame crafting. So we have these guys almost in. Huge ups for everyone for sticking with us here. I know you're grabbing food, you're grabbing the soda, you got to hit the bathroom. Do it. We have a few minutes. We're staying here. We're going to chat about what's going on. We see Link almost readied up with the QA team behind him. He's just figuring out if this PC is going to work for him. We don't want these guys going in, obviously, under par in any situation. We even saw Dyrus last game. He was like, I have a point off in my masteries. I'm like, all right, let's get it restarted. Everybody's going to get back into the game. It's the LCS. We want to see these guys playing at 110%, and that's what we're going for right now. I believe we're a good 100,000 plus on the viewers, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Big props to you every week, all week long. And for those of you who've stayed up the entire time, holy moly, like that has been absolutely amazing. I know there's a few of them. There has to be.
We got to take out all the excuses. If your computer is messed up, okay, we'll switch that out. You have no excuses ever. Any griping about losing any of these games, and especially these guys.
Just on hand, on the side, they pop in the new one back into the game. The clients are loaded, like we said before. Very cool little program that saves everybody's runes, masteries, and whatnot. You switch a computer, it's going to be the same. You're not going to have to do absolutely anything. So that's very cool for them. We try to just make it easy. They come in, and they do their job. That's what they were hired for. That's what they qualified for.
It's a really nice feeling, too, that they're actually coming in here, doing what they love, and it's their job. It's what they're working for. Everybody wants to have that sort of dream job. You feel fulfilled after working, and you don't really keep track of the hours that you're working, because that's what you do for fun anyway. So they go home, they're playing the game. They come here, they're playing the game.
Right. Exactly. And guys, don't forget tomorrow as well, like we said, 50 games, or 40 games, I should say, in 5 days. That's where the 5 comes from. But yeah, Europe, again, on Saturday, 6 games coming in there. And then, once again, on Sunday, 6 games there. That's why they call it Super Week, ladies and gentlemen. We are into Champion Select. Let's see what these two teams have for each other now.
All right, here we go, finally. So now we can see the band immediately banning Xerath and Zed. CLG was the other team to use that Xerath to great effect. Link did pretty well on him, but Nick Wu Zed, pretty much everyone agrees that's his best champion. They just want to get that out of the way.
Or Victor, but I don't think they're going to let him take that in top lane. He does love his Victor. Malphite and Vayne quickly taken out, and I think Doublelift, maybe his first Vayne ban. I'm not going to say first, but he does get a focus for this game. Twisted Fate coming out on Chuper's side as well, so they're taking away one of those core pool champions for him.
I really like the Vayne ban. It's kind of an answer to player-specific ban of Zed. They're like, okay, we know this is by far and away the most sought-after champion for Doublelift. Let's just get that out of there for him, because you can't really ban out these CLG guys. They have a pretty deep champion pool.
Right.
Just want to take away their favorite champion.
And who hasn't said from Counterlogic Gaming when they came up here, yeah, we just get Doublelift fed on Vayne and we win the game. So for somebody not to ban that out would have been pretty crazy. We see Jarvan coming in here for Nick Wu for a lot of Mortis, I should say, but for Complexity. Counterlogic, Hotshot on the screen. Chowster right next to him, and they are discussing what to pick here as those two are the ones to choose. They look down the line, contemplating the pick as the intensity grows.
Josh always looks so calm. Like he's the least intense guy. Yeah, I know. He's like, oh, that was the most emotion that I've seen from him in a long time.
So they still go late game hyper.
Yep, late game hyper. Kog'Maw, great second choice. It's a bit different though, a very different play style. You stay near the back line, you want to get protected, you want people constantly peeling for you. You have to take flash pretty much because there's no other jumps for him.
Cleanse.
Cleanse or barrier is really popular too. It's also a really great choice because Kog'Maw can stand there and auto people pretty late in the game if he's gotten a decent amount of lifesteal. And if you have that barrier, then it just gives you that extra stand-up power. But Draven is a beast in lane. He's known for pushing people out, and I really like him when he's comboed with Thresh. I'm just hoping that North America will pick Thresh one time, but he's so good with Thresh because it's a hyper-aggressive lane, and when you're super aggressive lane with Thresh, he can pick up every single soul that he wants.
We'll have to see what Lattimorez decides to go, who they will decide. We've also seen Thresh kind of going to grab that soul has cost people their lives. So we'll have to see if it's played right. Trooper picks up coL this time, so he's going to be able to play pretty safe in his lane. We'll have to see how he does. Not really relative to the Kassadin pick, so we can't really defer anything from there.
And they also have the double armor auras that Jarvan and Taric. We've seen it so many times. It just stacks up really well. That's going to protect them against a team that really puts all their eggs in the AD carry basket.
So true. We'll have to see if with this hyper carry, if he plays it the same way that Chaos did. If he just says, you know, forget about Pen, we're just going to go for straight damage here. We see the picks now coming in for Doublelift and Link on counter logic. That Shen has been picked for the top lane. Link going on for Lee Sin. Chalister for Lee Sin. And it's actually been quite a few games since he pulled that out.
I mean, Link has played Lee Sin middle, but I don't think he is. You're right. It's probably going to be Chalister because he loves Lee Sin still by far and away. He's probably the main right now professional player that still is holding on to that Lee Sin champion, the blind monk. He loves it. But here we go. We've got the ball and the rat combo. This is really, really strong combo right here. And this is what gave Curse a really hard time when GGU used it against them very early in the LCS. It's so hard to deal with a Twitch with Infinity Edge when he's invulnerable. He just can constantly get off crits on your entire team.
That's some pretty good synergy.
You have to be very, very close.
Yeah, that'll help.
And there's Nick Wu.
Oh, nice. So he is going to be pulling out the Jace. We've actually seen him play some pretty formidable Jace here. The Shock Blast known to really, Nidalee Spear to kind of throw that back out. We saw teams doing this last week. You take a Nidalee, I'll take the Jace poke. But that late game Nidalee, we know hurts so much more.
It does feel pretty bad when you get hit one of those max range spears when she's got 500 plus AP late game. But Nick Wu, this is basically his second go-to champion. He knows all the matchups top lane. I even saw him beat Elise top straight 1 versus 1. I think it might have been I can't remember who.
Great top lane.
Who was playing it, but it's really an interesting thing when you see anyone beat an Elise top lane because that's such a solid top laner, and he can do it on Jace, who not a lot of people use. So I feel confident with his heads-up play in that top lane. It will have to come down to his defensive warding so that Chaucer doesn't come and turn the tables on him.
Well, they could get pretty good poke out of that Lulu Cog lane for them to swap it up. They could give Nick Wu a lot of pressure, but he is consistent in his play. We know we've seen Hotshot play the swap lane, so he's perfectly fine there with Shen. But there's no teleport for these top laners. The first time in a while. Stand United, however, is going to allow Hotshot to get away from Nick Wu if he's not in those engagements.
Yeah, so they'll have a little bit of an edge there with the end game global presence. But I have to say, that Twitch coL combo is so scary. If you're not able to take him out early, then it's going to be a problem. Hotshot, though, you can still taunt Twitch when he's invulnerable. You won't be doing damage, but at least he can aim the spray and pray somewhere else.
So we see the teams facing off here. Complexity versus Counterlogic Gaming. As we get into your second matchup of the day, we are going to have this on the Rift. Bringing to the third and Kobe bringing this one to you. Let's see what these teams can do for level 1.
I automatically sympathize with that butterfly Kog'Maw because every few steps he tries to take flight and he just can't do it, always flopping back down onto the ground. Oh, so close. Maybe next time you'll get it.
One more time. There he goes. Oh, already. We'll see if Doublelift can carry from the ground this game. See them moving out. Looks like they're going to act as human wards here. Very Curse-like.
Yeah, and dual red pots coming out for Complexity. They want to fight early and often. Wherever Chauster ganks, he's going to have to be careful because a red pot will actually add a lot of damage as well, even at level 1, and they can turn it around on him.
I really like this. All the way back to Season 1, people buying the elixirs right off the bat. We saw Voyboy doing it with blue elixirs yesterday on that Tryndamere as well.
Yeah, like Voyboy said he's putting that Tryndamere up on the shelf, so yeah, had enough of that.
Live Design found it. He got nerfed.
There you go. It actually came out today, didn't it?
Yeah. It did.
These guys, though, for everyone watching, are not on
They are not on the new
live patch. Yeah, it's one patch back.
One patch back, indeed. Not too much movement. The second ward goes out. A few is what I wanted to say. The Bushwhacks acting as the ones that they don't really have down. There's going to be quite a bit of them here as Link sets up to handle himself in mid.
It looks like we will be getting a one-on-one top here. Nick Wu going to be in his natural habitat. That Debonair Jace will be taking on Hotshot Shen. And he's actually starting with these wolves, so Nick will have a slight advantage. Hotshot's sharing the experience with Chaucer, so he'll have about half as much. And the late invade is going to be dangerous here. They have a pink ward, and they're going to steal this blue, but they back off with the coL.
So good. So good how they went back. They said, we're not going up through blue. They're going to head. Right, they have the ward there.
Yeah,
they're like, we don't want anything to do with that. Was it like, even Italy didn't come. They didn't want a spirit. They're just going pure cautious.
Yeah, there you go. That ward definitely paid off for them very much. That's one of the things I was expecting a lot more people to do earlier than this.
So, figuring out what to do right off the bat. We can see them changing it up to keep themselves safe in the beginning. Now returning to that lane a little bit late. There's only 4-2 CS there as they were able to grab the wolves, so they don't lose too much. But Chaucer is looking pretty hungry right now, and it looks like he's going for a fast blue take.
There's a nice ward here on the blue side, but it doesn't look like either lane will collapse, and Chaucer just going to answer back with a blue steal of his own.
So they even those out very nicely. Chaucer knowing what he has to do to keep himself in the game to help continue pressuring the lanes. We'll see if Loudamortis can keep it up as well. A big focus on him in this match, everyone. If they continue to focus Loudamortis, we've been saying it's just very hard for Complexity to get through this. Nick Wu taking some aggression up top. Chaucer looking safeguard in. He goes on his minion to look for some extra damage there. They find the Q, but he will not follow up.
Yeah, because of that ward at the blue buff, there's no way Nick was going to get caught out with unawares. He sensed that Chaucer was going to come top next, and since we have Jarvan coming to answer, this could turn bad for CLG. If he goes right into this bush, you can actually pull over there.
Ooh, the aggression in the bottom lane. Oh my gosh, Doublelift almost going down the passive ticking. He has to throw on barrier. Woo, that expunge. Oh no, he still gets him after it wears out. It ticks forever. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Barrier actually only lasts for 2 seconds. That's not nearly long enough to soak up all that poison.
The aggression back on the top lane now. They know that there's one on the bottom. There's a little bit of chaos on CLG's side, and they use it to their advantage.
The red buff popped right there for Nick Wu as well, so that's going to be gone pretty soon here. He actually used it for the extra damage, not saving it to save himself from a gank or anything.
See, actually pushing him all the way back. Hotshot didn't even really decide to buy too much there. Coming in with the Dorans, he has a shield to come back, so it looks like he's going to try to sustain in lane as long as he can. Just use that health to get back up with his Vorpal Blades. Look around here, 26-24, 24-14 in that bottom lane though, so a quick lead taken in CS as Doublelift got pushed out of lane there.
Yeah, I mean, that poison too strong. It lasts for 6 seconds, whereas barrier only lasts for 2 seconds. So there's
and
really
even kind of tried to time it. He was like, "There's a tick, there's a tick. Okay, now." But yeah, you're right.
The only way that would have saved him if he actually used his barrier earlier when they were taking auto attacks, so that the full amount would be absorbed. Saving it that late to deal with the poison didn't quite work out for him. So first blood, that is going to help Brunch a lot. And it turns out, you know, they said it before, Brunch, Loudamortis coming in for a little gank here through that pink ward.
They were saying about Brunch, he said.
Yeah, they were saying about Brunch.
Or
Brunch tried out. Doublelift taking a lot of damage.
There it is again. He's going to be forced right out of the lane. Mortis didn't even have a factor in that fight other than being there, and they're able to push him out. He just got back. They're really giving Doublelift a hard time. They know since he doesn't have Vayne, they took the hyper carry. They still want to shut it down extra hard. Great ward by MIA.
Yeah, if Mortis had stayed up in that tri-bush instead of coming down before, they could have dove that turret to finish off Doublelift in that little instance right there. But he had already jumped over the wall, expecting them to come a bit farther out, and now he's just been sitting there, wasting a little bit of time. Doublelift, though, still has his flash. Even though he had given up that first blood, he's got another escape. There
you go, Chuper putting on the pain in mid. But Link has not backed yet. That lane could change very much once he gets a little bit of resistance and regen in that kit. So we'll see what he can do. And we don't have a back from Chuper either. The mid lane has just been left to farm here.
Yeah, what I was going to say before about Brunchu in that bottom lane was that he actually tried out for Aphromu's position that Aphromu's in right now, the support for Doublelift. And Doublelift said he wasn't trash, but
is the only one.
Yeah.
The only one he said that wasn't trash.
You're not trash, but we're going to take Aphro instead.
But you can still have one of my search that says you're trash.
And I'm going to first blood you. Thank you very much.
So Hotshot, he definitely is doing a little bit better in lane with that Doran shield as he actually gets blasted away as Feint wears off. You can see them CSing out 40-38. NickWoo holding strong in the lane. He bought himself a longsword to come back, actually, so he felt like he was doing all right in the defensive stage of everything.
His red pot just now running out, too, so that 250 gold did not give him much of an advantage in lane. Try to use it for that gank.
And a little on to Doublelift, a little aggression there. They know MIA is low on mana here, so it's kind of some aggression. They will try to push him back out of the lane. Both of them going for the double Dorans buy, too.
Interesting. Nice little defensive item. I mean, Edward did that a while ago on support, and I think it was Crepo was like, yeah, you know what? I punched the numbers. That's a great buy. It was a good find by Edward. Just nobody else had done it before. Hotshot always has been a big fan of that item, though, so not surprised to see Hotshot pick up one of his own.
The Doran's all over this game. There must be a sale going on. 7 minutes and 30 seconds into this one. That's 600 gold from First Blood and assist helping out a little bit here. And Chuper doing quite a good job in mid, giving Link some good harass. We see him not forced out for the blue, but his lane's actually all the way pushed here, so he's going to lose some CS as he goes for it. Doublelift now again back in lane. He bought a longsword for himself. We'll have to see if he upgrades that into the Scepter.
Yeah. Well, they both of them have the double Doran's blade, so that's so much sustain already.
Yeah.
A Vamp Scepter on top of that would be tremendous.
Spend another 400 gold to get something I already have. The pickaxe quickly coming up for Brunchu. You know, being said is one of an all-right buy. If you're going back with that much gold, pick it up. It's a great bit of damage.
Looks like he's going to be skipping that Vamp Scepter. A lot of aggression, though.
Guys, going face to face. That's about the third time they've done that. I like the aggression coming out of these two in mid.
And they're dead even on CS. Both of them picking up core items in their build.
Oh, Chowster.
Oh, Chowster going over a ward. And he places a ward of his own at the blue buff. Perfect timing by him. Mortis doesn't know that ward was placed.
He's got to have a smile on his face right now. He may have seen, you know, just a hit from that flag toss coming in. And he is going to be able to stay there. Chuper moving over a little too early, throws on the invulnerability, and the kick causes the spear to miss. The flash as well. Mortis is forced in to hold mid now, and they might be able to steal blue off of this.
Yeah, and they also traded the flash from middle for the ignite, which is actually a really good trade. coL doesn't have any gap closure. She has a small speed boost from her heal, and that's it. You're right, they're going to steal this blue up. Charster actually wants that for his own energy regen since Link's got one already.
There's a big difference, Kobe. Complexity also had the timer on blue, right? They didn't want to contest it again. Chowster went exactly from when he took it last time, and that's where CLG could start to grab a lead with those both blues.
Yep. They used the timing to their advantage right there. Very predictable invade. Not too big of a deal, but Chuper did pop his red pot as well. That will be ticking down. And they haven't gained much advantage from those early buys that they used. NickWoo didn't get anything out of his either.
And they actually placed more than one ward down. It wasn't safe enough just to have the blue. Chowster put one down in the push. Brunchu taking some good damage as we saw a lot of Mortis heading top. This gank in the bottom lane, pressure in the bottom lane could definitely draw attention of the jungler. It's certainly drawing attention of Link. He's going to look for a behind the turret kill here. The blue buff is on. He throws a bushwhack in there, so if anybody comes in, they're going to be shredded out. and they are just going to sit and wait. That top gank actually going down, as we did see Mortis making the roll. Hotshot's going to fall first in this engagement. They're really going to want this in the bottom lane now, and you can see MIA and Brunch just holding each other right now.
Yeah, so Link does walk back out over that ward. They know he's gone and they're safe now. But Hotshot saw Mortis go up to that top lane. Those wards you were talking about at blue, they placed both of them. He knew it was up in that area. There were red pings everywhere, and he still just gets dumped by the lane gank from Jarvan. It can still catch you off guard. He has 2 gap closers, and since Hotshot's down, there's no Shen ultimate, but CLG still take advantage, grab the trade for Dragon for top turret, at least salvaging a little bit from that situation.
Complexity, I gotta say, definitely looking better here in the early part of the game. A few things, you know, that you said earlier. If Mortis would have stayed in the tri-bush when Chauster came to gank, that's somewhere we would have seen Mortis dying before. They're making the right moves this time. It's paying off. The gold lead isn't that much, but that's because Counter Logic is, they know that this is going to be a tough game with what they've seen so far.
And you see Afro there trying to shove the lane with the Glitter Lance. They want to push this turret down as early as they can. They know that since the top turret's already been taken, they need to get some map control back for themselves.
This mid lane kind of has had a bit of aggression. The CS is still 94-90. When we saw Chuper flash away, that's still coming up off of cooldown quite a long time. We did see the Ignite of Link use, so if they go in, it's all about the abilities on them. Link has done a bit of roaming, but it's really going to come into play for Chuper once they get these 5-on-5 fights and he can start using that intervention.
Link does have to be careful because the ultimate of coL does mean they're not afraid to tower dive.
The stand united as well. He's not going to have the flash. It was just used. The invulnerability is there, and they're going to focus on him, taking steps in front of him so they can keep along with the kite. Nick Wu is going to be forced into a fight here. He tries to dodge into the bush and through the gate. Nice try in the mechanics there, but it was just too much coming from CLG. They pick up 2 kills of their own.
I love that use of the Shen ultimate coming in for a 3-man gank there. They don't even need the home guard boots, just like hop all over there, and they're rewarded with a middle turret for themselves. There's that little bit of map control that they wanted.
I know Nick Wu was around that spot, but that just shows, we said he didn't take teleport, how quick of an impact Hotshot has when he gets there instantly.
Yeah, even though he died, he was off the map for a while.
Yeah.
Kind of caught them off guard. Even used that to turn it around, so it's 2-2 now. And the bottom under pressure.
Here we go, Chauster coming in on the golems. This is the second time here. We just saw Link doing the same thing to MIA and Brunchy in the bottom lane. They're just going buddies right now. They know they can't get any pressure. 94-103, so these guys going back and forth in CS. It's still going to stay just about even. I mean, that's the case in just about every lane right now, even the jump.
A needlessly large rod picked up here for Link, so immediately
for the burst.
Those spears are going to start hurting now. Get ready with your oohs and ahs, people.
Or if you're yeah,
there you go.
So we'll see what they can do as they clear out the lanes. Nick Wu's by, goes for the Brutalizer. Like you said, these guys love damage right off the bat. They don't want to do anything with the health. We see it's a little different Hotshot. He got that Giant's Belt and the armor. Mortis and Trooper trying to put on the aggression. As you can see, Link taking a good bit of damage there. And they continue to place the wards out. Almost everybody has wards on Counter Logic's side. Let's see the wards placed for coL in the bottom lane, and they only have 1. The Sightstone is up, though, so they could put down some more. It's all the bottom lane. Look how much they are putting pressure on that bottom lane. They're forced to ward it twice.
Yeah, it's so deeply warded because there were all those repeat visits, like you said, from Link and Chauster down there. They don't want to get caught off guard. Lee Sin is really good, actually, against Twitch, since there's absolutely no chance he'll be able to go invisible off that. Usually, people can just keep hitting Twitch and delay his invisibility before he gets away, but Lee Sin can actually get vision of that.
So I think it was around 8 minutes for that blue.
Again.
So we're going to be seeing, yeah, they're putting the pressure towards that area once again. You see, it's going to be Link. So 3rd blue of the game. We'll be going over to CLG here. Remember, Complexity was able to get the first one on the invade, but it's not been helping the mid lane there ever since.
I like this, that they're staying with the same strategy. They're following up, not letting the blue buff drop over the course of the game. They're sticking with it every time it pops up. They go grab that. With 2 minutes left on Dragon, I would actually think that CLG might start warding up a little bit deeper so that they'll be in position to grab that one.
Pressure on Mortis. This is where it could start getting sticky for Complexity. They get out there, but this is going to be low health. Counter Logic Gaming may want to make a move off of this.
Ooh, there we go. Missed spear.
Watch the coattails there. You can see what that W for Nick-Woo. That wasn't W. Those are just auto attacks. Actually, just a bit of damage. See him pushing all the wards here. Look at this. 4 wards on your screen right there. 2 from each team. The bushwhacks go down as well. Try and increase that vision and shred that armor. The split push starts in from Hotshot.
Yeah, Hotshot definitely at home with this strategy.
I think that top tower could be his any moment. Actually, he was at 75% health, so it's going to take a while for him to crack at that one. And Nick-Woo may make it to that top lane as the minion wave is there taking direction of the minions, so they're not going to get extra damage. There's the blast. Nick-Woo saves the turret. And still 120 to 114 in that lane. He's just 1 assist behind Hotshot there. So like we said, he is keeping himself up to par with that play. The gold lead's still very minimal between both of these teams.
The picture of this map right now is just the quintessential CLG strategy. They have Hotshot split pushing top, Doublelift farming his brains out bottom, and the rest of them just trying to keep up the pressure in that middle. And some more wards actually really need to come out from CLG. You can see it's blanketed in blue right now, but very few purple eyeballs up.
They actually just put all of those wards down recently, which is crazy. We had those wards down in the bottom lane, but then Complexity's like, we have too much on our side. They're not ganking us down in the bottom of these lanes anymore. Dragon comes back up in 8. They have a lot of wards on the top side, but that's not going to help for the bottom, so we'll see how they take to this.
Again, Hotshot taking the opportunity, going to split push. He knows that they're going to fight over Dragon.
It's turret for Dragon here.
So as long as CLG are delaying Complexity, then they're winning this fight right now. And it's going to take Jace a while to get there. If CLG engage now, it could be a 5-on-4.
And they have the teleport, like we said. That was a big factor before. The Stand United is up, rather. MIA taking more than half his health from a full extended spirit. It only takes a few shots from Doublelift. It looks like Lauda Mortis goes right onto him. The one heal from Link back to full. Flash is forced out here. They do grab that Dragon up. They grab the turret up top as well. Complexity is forced to run.
This is a chess match just playing out perfectly for CLG. They're expecting every move from Complexity and outplaying them before they even get there. CLG, they wanted them to go for Dragon. Chaucer had faith in his smite stealing ability, and they wanted them to be grouped up in that Dragon Pit so that Link can get those free spears. You saw tanking Taric down to 30% or so. An easy follow-up granted them a kill. They get the Dragon, they get the turret. That was just a huge snowball for them.
That is the 4,000 gold lead. It's been quite close since. Now it's about 18 minutes in. Complexity, CLG finds, the move that they wanted. The door was open there for them to go for the Dragon. They were easily able to come in. Lauda Mortis, that dive onto Doublelift didn't give as much damage as he wanted, and the heal from Link, I really think, turned them off of just that fight altogether. Infinity Edge completed now on to Kog'Maw. They tried to stop the Vayne, but can they stop the Cog?
Yeah, Kog'Maw Infinity Edge is really scary. He's got so much range now. And Chuper, you're going to have to time your ultimate really well for Complexity in the next team fight. They still have a good chance. If he's able to block that key spear, that will be maybe half of someone's life bar right now, because Nidalee has not gone back to purchase the other half of her death cap yet. She actually, with that Phoenix Codex, could go a lot of routes right now. So we'll have to see where he ends up with that. But Hotshot, he's got the beginnings of the Randuin's Omen there with the Warden's Mail, and that was what Doublelift always complains about as an AD carry. There's a bane of his existence that's going to be so good against Twitch, because Hotshot can force Twitch to attack him. Yep. And you're forcing that 20% attack speed reduction on him.
They can get to the back line and do it again, like they just pounced on Link. That's such a good engagement, as you said. Giving up the red here to Brunch U. We'll see if anything says. They are looking for a fight right now. Just the regular sight stones. We don't see the Locket of the Iron Solari really coming out yet for either of the junglers. Lauda Mortis is on that Kindle Gem, but he hasn't been able to complete too much. Went for Ninja Tabi, trying to get himself fight ready. Spear coming out, hits Chuper, almost brings him back to half. And just having that ability in the game where everybody kind of knows we're not really fight ready anymore because of one spear.
Yeah, Chuper only has 2 items there. He's got some shoes and a little sword.
Oh, man.
He upgraded to Home Guard very early, which is not a bad buy because they're already getting pressured so far into their base. They've lost a lot of turrets. So he definitely needs to be able to get back out there and with the rest of his team as soon as possible. This mid lane pink ward actually going to do a lot for CLG because they'll see where Twitch is coming from.
So is it not a huge factor that Chuper kind of far behind on items, because the ultimate's really what's coming into play for him now, and it'll be all right if he can get kind of built up in the next 5-10 minutes?
Well, since, like I said, Hotshot can... Oh, my goodness.
That's painful.
Hotshot can force Brunch to attack him, so Complexity really needs another big damage source, and they need Chuper to be that. Nick Wu's going to be trying to fire his shockwaves over and over from the back line, and it's going to be very dangerous for them. The death cap is finally completed. He went up going with that route.
And you see him maxing damage again. Nick Wu, the team you said likes to do that. The BF sword after the Brutalizer and Vampiric Scepter. He's not even going for any type of mitigation. On the damage, Brunch Yu, great hands there, catches one behind the turret. It looks like he's going to be forced back, so they don't have the Infinity Edge for the fight. It's really going to have to go on somebody with the dive here. Oh my gosh, that's 2 out of the fight now with low health. Dragons up in 2, and this is how we saw Mandatory Cloud just absolutely pick apart teams last week.
Basically, these are free objectives for CLG right now. Nobody on Complexity has any magic resistance bot at all. They don't have the beginnings of an Aegis. It looks like he's probably going to be going Locket first on that Jarvan, so there's not a lot of hope in sight for them, and since they are all building damage, none of them even has health to back it up. They have no regen, there's no team auras there to build off of. It's really looking dire for them because all Link has to do is land a couple spears, and so CLG is going to put a high priority on keeping blue buffs up for him. As long as they have blue buffs up on Link, they can take whatever they want.
They've been doing a good job of it. Chuper actually seems like he's going to build into a Haunting Guise here as he put together that tomb in the crystal. So that just may show how hurt he is for that gold. 7,800 right now coming in for Link to that 6,200 of Chuper. It's really starting to separate for these two teams. The CS is still relatively close in every lane from the supports to the jungles as well. These objectives are coming into play now. The 4-2 and the 5-3 in kills and turrets really starting to sway the game.
This is really the perfect situation for CLG. They can split push with Hotshot because he's so strong right now, so tanky. He even has wards for himself, and there's wards all over the Complexity's jungle, so he can just go down there as much as he wants and wait while the rest of his team sieges up a tower, and Link just throws spears, playing target practice over there until he finally finds a target.
They are kind of hovering around this top side, keeping that pressure towards that blue area. More wards. Now the wards coming out for CLG. You can see they've placed down 3-4 bushwhacks going around in that area. I think Joe was saying it before as well. Just bushwhacks everywhere. All the Nidalee traps have been being placed in these games when usually you only see a few. They just litter the entire map. And it looks like the Baron dance will begin. Doublelift is going to be able to take it down quite fast on Kog'Maw. Let's see what he is going for his build. He's got actually 5 on that W. By Arcane Barrage, and then he goes to level the Void Ooze next instead of getting that Q on the passive attack speed.
Complexity got tricked out a little bit. They went to go check Dragon. They realize CLG are not on the map, and they're rushing over to Baron, but it's too late. It goes down.
Looks like they're going to grab it. They are hightailing it towards the top side. Exit stage left for these guys. They don't even want an engagement. They want to say, you can chase us all you want. Hotshot's in the bottom lane being split shot GG, and we're going to push the top lane.
They're losing every objective that CLG went for. They went to check the Dragon, so they lose Baron. Plus, they're going to take a lot of damage on this bottom turret. It looks like they are just out of sorts. They don't know where to go, sending Chuper down to try and stop Hotshot, but really what they have to do would be catch someone off guard out of position, and that's not going to happen from CLG right now.
CLG would love to get caught out of position. I think they could actually handle it and kind of bait the fight in for themselves. They are very strong right now. They've quickly made it to 8,000 gold. We can see Chuper relying on the home guards just to defend against Shen's hits on the turret. He's really not even trying to use abilities. Back Brunch Yu. That damage is so amazing. It's game-changing on every throw if it hits.
Well, Link doesn't even have to choose his targets right now. Any person that he hits is going to take a giant chunk of their life because they didn't build those defensive stats.
Well, Complexity is going to have to put on their tap dancing shoes because with these spears coming out again, actually that one went right over Lauda Mortis, hit MIA. So you can see even Tarek taking a good bit of damage. These guys, like you said, don't have a chance to build the magic resistance they need right now. And with that Armor Aura stack, it's not really what they need.
It is only 2-4 right now, but the difference looks so much more commanding when you look at the team fights because Complexity are just sitting there dodging shots for as long as they can until one hits, and then they have to go all the way back to base.
Look at the buys coming out here. The 80 carries.
Hotshot has 3 people on him finally.
Yeah, this is old school. This is Season 2 Hotshot right here. We'll see how long it takes for them. He's not going to be able to get out of this one, but the team is wreaking havoc at the top of the base. Oh my gosh, I'm a liar. He made me a liar. He gets out of that, finally goes down. Thank you, Nick Wu, and it looks like they're going to be able to get the inhibitor.
Nick Wu's got your back there, Rib.
Woo! It's close. It's close.
So they do take down Hotshot, but they lose an inhibitor turret and an inhibitor. Not the best of trades. At least they got one Baron buff off the road there. 24 seconds, though, means Hotshot will be back in time to stop this siege as well.
So Hotshot picks up a Randuin's, didn't get the home guard yet, so I figure that in 15 seconds, if they are in the face of Complexity, this may be a Stand United initiation to come in on Complexity here. Good damage onto MIA. That means initiate even more. If they continue to pressure on the turret, that's 2 down. They're making the run. 3 seconds for Hotshot to come up here. A slow onto Link. They try to get some movement there. There's just that one slow was just too much for the reinitiate.
They actually could just straight march down this mid line.
They have that Stand United.
That one, yeah. They're fine with this. They have got this game so well in hand. 3-4 is the score of this game.
Yeah.
But Complexity are running for their lives.
They have to right now. All of the health and damage that was able to be built just versus the damage. Red Elixirs coming out and being popped right now for Complexity before they're even in the fight. They know this may be a last stand. A Dazzle comes out. They get Doublelift. He only has the barrier, not the cleanse. He throws that on. He gets a bit of damage that he needs, or get a sustain he needs. And that was actually the safeguard. So his summoner is still up. CLG is fighting with the knowledge that they have such an upper hand. They didn't even blow the summoner spells out of being scared in the initiation of that fight. They are still standing strong, and it looks like they may be able to take this inhibitor out. A little too much pressure going down. That next minion wave could mean it for them, jumping back and forth, trying to harass Nick Wu here. They know a good amount of damage comes from him. They push them off. They find the inhibitor, Kobe, and they just look to toy with Complexity now.
You can see how desperate Complexity are for defensive stats. Tarek has a red pot right now just for the extra HP, and that actually made him survive the last few spears from the engage.
Going around, the Andries finally finished up for Trooper here. They can get a bit more damage over time on these fights, but that's what they're not lasting, is time. They're very fast. The spears completely taking out Brunchu and MIA in multiple hits. If they can't dodge those spears, these fights start at such a disadvantage for Complexity.
There's not really a way for Complexity to get the gold lead back either. They're all buying these consumables, red pots on 3 out of 4 members, and CLG have complete control of the map, so they can easily just keep on grabbing up all the dragons, all the barons, anything that they want. Complexity's base is just in ruins right now, and CLG are coming down bottom to finish this one off. Link actually just going to solo up that dragon.
He's going quite strong on it. Looks like he's going to go a little help here from his teammates, as like you said, could be one final push coming in. A ward there may have seen. They look to grab one out. This could be a quick turnaround for them. They take down Link, but they have to get back to the base. The push can still be strong from CLG.
That is huge for Complexity. They did all build damage, so it means that late game they can still pull stuff like that, where it's a push gank and finish off somebody that they do catch out.
We heard what Element said in the interview. You're just waiting to catch somebody out right here, and this may be it. They go to Doublelift. Great polymorph onto Lauda Mortis. He can't do the damage. Vulnerability onto Tarek. Can they get the damage they want out of this? There goes Chowster. Link is still down from the previous engagement. They could find themselves in trouble here. Doublelift goes down. The Cathian surprised to still do quite a bit of damage, but it's not going to be any health bars that he wants to hit. CLG has Hotshot come in here. Afromu going for the base. They're split both ways, Kobe.
Complexity caught out Link and annihilated him early, but CLG felt like they were so strong they kept on pushing right into that 4 versus 5 man engage. And now Lulu, Afromu gonna have to speed himself away.
8-0, that 80% slow, pretty much shutting down Lauda Mortis. But here's the chase going. It's almost a slow motion chase. Hotshot says, what? What's going on? Come on, bring it. He's so taunting them. He doesn't want them to go back. They're gonna start spawning. They're gonna start running down, and Hotshot wants to keep them there. He can always go back to base. It actually doesn't have Stand United, so he's gotta be careful with what he does here. He taunts out. It's gonna be a lot of damage coming in. The feint for the shield, and that just not what Brunchu expected.
Yeah, I was saying Hotshot went back and forth right there. He was just trying to bait them in for Link. You can see him walking down here this map. He finally gets there, uses the flash to come heal Hotshot. What a bro. They don't go down, and so CLG going to pick up their red buff, and they're just going to do a 2-man push on this bottom turret. Like I said, they feel so confident right now, even though it's 6-6. They just have all the power in this game right now. Baron up in 10, 12 seconds, and they're probably just going to take that really quickly with only a few members.
What a bro by Link, wasting the flash to save Hotshot there. Looks like he will have enough time to pretty much vorpal his health back to normal. They'll be able to engage on this fight. He looks to stay with the team now. Like I said, it would have been scary if he would have pushed back off that fight because of the Stand United being down. But now poised to take Baron once again. Kobe, 7,000 gold in the lead. The kill score is tied right now, but it's 8-4 in turrets. Means a lot with that global pressure.
Puts Complexity in a really tough situation. They have to make the choice where they're going to have their last stand. Do you give up that inhibitor? Probably yes for the top one. There's no turret. You at least need a turret to fight with. So when CLG goes bottom, you really don't want to give up all 3 inhibitors at once because that makes the super minions ridiculously strong. But you do want to fight with the double turrets. So if they're not going to catch someone out, then there they go. They'll just initiate right on this first inhibitor, actually.
They see Hotshot and Chaucer push up, and you saw Lotta Mortis was like, all right, I'll run by you guys if I can get right to Doublelift. Chuper taking a good shot right there, but they got some good sustain as well. That coL heal and the Terra heal coming in. But that's all to negate one ability coming from Link that he can do over and over again. So let's see what they can do. They're guarding the last one. Hotshot able to get hits in there. MIA still taking those spears. See if they can get this inhibitor. One for Lotta Mortis as well. They're just throwing the medicine everywhere right now. Hotshot stays in the front here. That Baron buff ticking away for them, and Complexity knows they can't get initiation. He doesn't even want to dazzle Hotshot.
The one saving grace for Complexity right now is that Link does not have a blue buff at least.
Yeah.
So he's slowly running out of mana.
And even if they were starting to build that magic resistance, the Void Staff is already on Link. MIA walking too many steps into the fight. He tries to get the help from Lotta Mortis as they dive in. Nikwu just on the outside. They're clearing health bars pretty good right here. Doublelift has not had the chance to kite and fire. The damage is going out. We've seen MIA go down so far in this fight. It's going to be Lotta Mortis next as Doublelift finds himself a kill. A great shock blast coming out, taking down Afromu, and Chuper is forced out of the fight. The invulnerability has been used defensively. It's only Chuper and Brunch to hold the base, and CLG looks to push on.
Yeah, Afromu, the only casualty so far. Chuper still going to fight valiantly with those home guard boots, but 3 inhibitors down means that they are going to march on those Nexus turrets.
It could be quite strong as well. They have a full super wave top, one coming in mid. That River right now has the next line for bottom, so it looks like they may not even need that one. They're going to pressure this first turret. Kobe coming in quite strong. A 33-minute game here for Complexity and Counter Logic Gaming. Looks like it'll go for a few more as Complexity, or CLG rather, heads out of the base.
They back off and they're going to make them wait. They don't want to throw this away. All of Complexity back up here. Nikwu's got a few more seconds, so they don't feel like dying. They'll just go back by real quick and make the best of that Baron buff. Return to finish the job. Doublelift actually just going to get that red buff too. He's got plenty of little flowers circling him.
So coming into this, we said Complexity likes to build damage, right? And we can see that they like to build damage. There's hardly any defense besides a Locket, Jarvan building the Wardens, right? So where do you have to change that when you see it coming into game? Is there a factor of you're not going to get much gold here to here if you're already down? Right? Where do they need to change that? Was it the 20-minute mark? Do they need to start knowing to build defense at some point?
Well, when you're against a middly, Runic Bulwark is really a really important item.
So that have needed to come out already.
Yeah, because everybody is going to have at least some magic resist. Like we saw there, the spears on any one of these targets just takes them out of the fight before it's even started. And CLG can just take advantage of that after you already have to back off. The kills, you don't even have to get kills.
There's the taunt in on MIA. They have wards all over the place, and you can see it just activating the fight. They thought to fight this outside of their base, but in reality, the minions are giving CLG vision as well, so they knew Complexity was trying something tricky, but I guess they've had to, Kobe. It's the last stretch here. A last-ditch effort as Complexity, or CLG looks at this last turret. Home guard coming in for Lotta Mortis as he dives towards the back line. They get one, and they've got CLG to turn their eyes away from the Nexus. MIA catches another spear. spear. They're trying to get themselves back. Nick Wu actually used that on a minion to get himself out of danger. They dodged that spear as CLG puts up a human wall between them and the fountain, and they look to take down the Nexus here versus Complexity. The kills are coming out, but it's going to be CLG on top at 35 minutes.
All that intense yelling was them trying to up their KDA at the end. They were like, no, don't kill the Nexus, I want more kills. Trying to get those few guys at the fountain. Congrats to CLG, though. Well deserved.
So a great game by Complexity, I must say, up until a point where we saw experience really hinder what they were bringing to the table. It looked like CLG knew they could do a few certain things to continue to pressure it. They were a team that kept going after the blue buff. Usually we'll see that 1 or 2 times, and then it won't happen. Loudamortis should have gone back for it as well, but they didn't. They didn't have any pressure as it came up. Chouster went back and warded it 5 seconds before it came up, and then saw the Jarvan flag toss. So much information just from that. Pushed that game 20% in CLG's favor there, and they kept doing the right things from there on out.
You can tell that they didn't just lay out their level 1. They prepared their strat for the whole game. They kept it going all the way past 20 minutes. And that is something that they said they were going to work on when preparing against these teams that started out as the lesser teams. They were going to full-on prepare like it was going up against Curse or something.
And it showed, right?
Yeah.
coL not super mana heavy. Obviously would love to have a blue buff in middle if she can get a Q off and throw her E. That's, you know, the damage comes from the Nashers that she gets out. But to be able to do that over and over, get a little cooldown and intervention, could have helped those fights a little bit.
And anytime that you do have that mid AP Nidalee, blue buffs are so important. If you keep that on her, you can just continuously throw those spears. And basically, whenever you land 2 spears, you get a free objective.
Yeah.
You don't, the kill count for that game was so low, it's because they were just backing off after they got hit by a spear, and then you take an objective, so you get your advantage from that.
Absolutely, everyone. We'll be back right after these messages with an interview with both Hotshot GG and Chouster from Counterlogic Gaming. Stick around.